The new R-4 Anomaly operation is on the PTS, and the new Overlord studio is live. We talk about that and more on this episode of the Escape Podcast for Star Wars: The Old Republic from newoverlords.com. Our broadcast astromech today is EPC 420. And playing alongside me is Seema. Hi, Seema. How's it going?
Going really well. Been doing a lot of SWTOR this week. I will say that we've had, weather-wise, at least a couple of mornings where I woke up and it was 18 degrees. And last night we even had some snow, which does not seem fair to me. No reaction, to the snow?
No. Well, I mean, we had snow flurries also. And,
Okay.
I don't know.
That would have been a reaction.
It's March. It's March. Especially in the Midwest, March is still part of winter. It is not part of spring. We can never consider it spring. And as soon as you start thinking it's spring, it will snow.
I fall for it. So I've been continuing to work on the gear for my Merc, which basically means doing activities that yield ARMs, aquatic resource matrices, which is the gate for that. And to that end, I've also been working on leveling some other characters. So now I have my Merc, who's level 80, since day one, basically, of the X-Pack. Now I have 480s on the pub side. So I can, do a thing here and there and get a few more ARMs. And it's going. I think my overall gear level is 324 right now, but I still have a couple of 322 pieces, mostly because I messed up and equipped some Taiwanese 322s and then didn't upgrade. So those I'll probably just hang on to because I don't want to buy a 320, rebuy a 320 Conquest one and then upgrade that one because that's 60 ARM right there. So
right.
I'll save those to the end. I have a couple like that. So leveling Conquest 2 I've been doing. So to me, that's kind of do a little Conquest is a break from leveling. Leveling is a break from doing Conquest. So it kind of works out. For the leveling, I've been doing story. So I have a bunch of level 75 characters that never went through their character story once they got their ship.
Right. So
it's kind of fun. It's been a while since I've done those, OG character line stories. So I've been doing that on on a few characters. And that's actually a pretty mellow way to level. I mean, it's not super fast, not as fast as doing the Banan stuff, but it's more mellow than trying to do the Echoes of Oblivion stuff, which I did do. I did do that recently on my Commando.
Right. I've done it a few times.
It's kind of grueling.
4 or 5 times. But yeah.
Conquest. Oh, and Galactic Seasons. I'm up to level 63, and there are 94, 95 days left, which, by the way, I love that they gave us that little counter in the UI for that. But so I'm over halfway, but I've used up halfway of the days, really.
Yeah.
So Galactic Seasons is just going really smoothly and even this week, I'm already 5 of 7. And I'm definitely going to end up getting those last 2 because one of them is the rep one, which all I have to do is go turn in rep things. And the other one is doing quests in in hut space.
Sure. Right.
I have to admit, though, the first few times I looked at that, I had to say, what are hut space missions?
Which one of the space? Which ones of the space? And I couldn't tell you. Did you figure that out?
Well, it means missions in hut space.
Oh, so it's not space missions.
Right.
Got it. You confused me too.
So yeah, that's what I've been up to. Plus MFN, plus on our ops team tonight, we went through priority targets to get a little glob of ARMs, and then we went and did story mode Caracas Palace for the same reason, and then we went and did or took a look at Nightmare Nephra or Master Mode Nephra, which kind of, slapped us in the face. No reference attended there. Just like whoop, 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 whoop. Nope, not yet.
Just a quick one or two polls. We didn't have everything lined up how we wanted to, but we figured we got 10 minutes at the end of the night. We'd give it a shot. But we'll get back in there pretty soon.
I mean, that's it for me. How about you, Max?
I have been doing a bunch of those similar things. So I've been also working on this studio. So the people that are watching the video now, if you aren't, I will describe it to you in detail right now with the 1,000 words that this picture is conveying. But I have been working on building out this studio for New Overlords and for some other projects for a few weeks now, probably about 4 weeks, gathering equipment, building the wall that's behind me, building everything out so that I could frame it, learning photography and how aperture affects the bokeh effect behind me, and how I want to frame and stage, and lenses and mirrorless cameras and lots of things. It's been really, really fun, and I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. So this is potentially going to be the way that we do the podcast from now on. But it's more designed for some of the other things that we might want to start doing with New Overlords as well. So that has been huge and has been consuming a bunch of my time and will continue because there's a little more still. Well, it's never going to be done, I'm sure. But I've also been playing a lot of Star Wars: The Old Republic. I've also been really focused on Galactic Seasons. That's been driving a lot of everything that I do. One of the key things, and we talked about this a little bit last week, I'm still really focused on trying to get those 12-point objectives and get those done without accidentally getting too many of the 8-point objectives done. It's not really critical. It doesn't really matter. Everybody, I'm certainly going to get to the end of Galactic Seasons, probably even sooner than I want to.
It's user-created content.
But the 12-point ones are definitely harder as well. In fact, I skipped one last week because it was the Uprisings. And I didn't get around to creating a group or getting a group and getting together and doing the Uprisings. So I didn't get that one done. My problem this week is I'm already 407 and I have 3 more of the 12-point ones that I will do this week, but I have to be careful not to complete something else accidentally.
Yeah, they might. Yeah.
Because then I'll shortcut myself. I'll lose out 4 of those points. Again, not a big deal. And I'm not really broken up about it, but it's interesting going after that and trying to get the optimal path. And it's been fun. It's been fun because, again, it drives a lot of the doing weird and different and new things, doing some of the same old things, but remembering that you haven't done them in a while. I like how they've twisted it and added in a few new things as well. So that's been great. I will be continuing to do that this week. And we did get on the PTS a little bit. That's what we're on right now. We poked our head in and pulled the first boss with 3 people. I really want to get, and I'll probably plan it a little bit more ahead than what Seema and I did today, which was a couple hours in advance, said, hey, we're going to be pulling the boss in the PTS in about 2 hours. Jump in if you want to do it. That was not enough time. So we'll probably plan out some time to get a PTS 8-man group to go fight at least the first boss and then pull the second boss. Maybe try to clear both of those 2 bosses. And we're going to be certainly talking a little bit about it tonight. There's plenty to see. Inside, we can walk up to the first boss. We did that. We pulled and fought the first boss. And then I've watched videos of a few other people that have killed the first 2 bosses, or at least the first boss and fought the second boss. And that's been really fun too. So get on the PTS. I've also been on the PTS playing with the Outfitter. So that's what I've been doing. Let's find out what else has been going on around SWTOR in the news.
Now, an Imperial News Network report.
So what do we got in the news, Seema?
Well, the first thing is we had a little patch today. It was specifically to fix a reward tracks issue for Galactic Seasons 2. So if you've not been following it, it's basically that after 7.0.1, some people didn't get rewards, and so this is to fix that.
Yep. That was the main thing, right?
Yeah. And then a couple other little things is they temporarily reduce the number of purifier droids in Kotet Chapter 4 because there was something going on that was preventing some players from progressing the quest. It's not the long-term fix, though. A future patch will rebalance this encounter in a way that, works more naturally, I guess.
Right.
And then the last thing is that they disabled the /stuck command in all PvP areas to prevent, there was some kind of exploitive behavior going on. So that's also going to be backed out as soon as they do a long-term fix for it.
Yeah, I think people were killing themselves instantly so they could reset the match and they could just get through it quick and get a bunch of the rewards. Maybe doing win trading that way. I don't really know why that would be beneficial because you still need to win in PvP, but there was some sort of exploiting going on that they were able to do with /stuck. So That's off for now. That's what you get. They can take away your toys.
Right.
Another post that's up that we can have fun with and check out as we're doing right now, unrelated to the operation, but there's a few other things that they've been changing on the PTS. So they have been tweaking some of the bosses, but they've also been, I lost my note.
They did some changes to level syncing and to companion performance.
Yeah. This sounded great. We're all going through a bunch of the content right now in doing heroics and leveling characters, and everybody's sort of come to this experience of the companions don't seem to be performing the way we would expect them to. And apparently that's true. The companions were missing abilities. They weren't doing all the damage that they should. And level sync has been a little out of tune. That has been tuned up on the PTS. We can check it out there. And hopefully that'll be in the game pretty soon in 7.0.2.
So there's another post this week, a fairly long one. This one is from Bryant Wood, and he's talking about updates that we will be seeing on the PTS or that are on the PTS. And they made some tweaks to rewards in general, which is pretty interesting. One sort of major thing is that they have a goal now of making it easier to make the CM-1337, which is a component you need to craft higher level things. I don't know, augments maybe. But
right.
One of the ways that people use tech fragments once they got geared up in 6.0 or 6.x was to turn in 10,000 tech fragments, and then you could either choose as a quest reward an RPM 13 or an OEM 37. And then if you were not a crafter and didn't have a use for them because you weren't crafting those high-end augments, then you could just put those on the GTN and a crafter would buy them. So that was a good, steady source of millions of credits over time. So that has been changed so that now you can buy, and then after 7.0, they actually put a second mission in there if you wanted to spend another. They lowered it to 7,500, I think, but then they put a second quest in where you could buy another one for 10,000. So if you really had nothing to do with your tech fragments, you could spend them on these. But that's this early in the X Pack, we had plenty of stuff to spend the tech fragments on because people are trying to upgrade their implants, and you need tech fragments for that. So, I don't. That didn't last very long, but what they're doing now is you'll just be able to buy them off the Spoils of War vendor, just straight out buy them for 5,000 tech fragments each. So it used to be 10,000 to do the quest, 7,500 to do the quest, and then 10,000 to do the second quest. But now you can just buy them 5,000 tech fragments. So as a player, and you get your character's implants to where you want them, that'll free up tech fragments that come from various sources. And then you can use them to buy these crafting mats.
Right.
The weekly mission is gone now. It won't be there at all. So it'll just be buy them from the Spoils of War vendor.
Yes. So these make the high-end augments that are super, super expensive right now. And the OEM module in particular, which was the one that you could buy for 7,500 tech frags or whatever it is currently, that's the one that's been selling for 150 million credits. So if you want to try to empty your inventory of those, if you have any of them laying around, now is probably the time, or the price might be coming down relatively soon because they'll be a little bit easier to get. The RPMs and the OEMs came from other places too, like Nightmare Operations for OEMs and ranked PvP for RPMs. And ranked PvP for RPMs doing the ranked PvP weekly is why those have been in higher supply.
I think you have time, though. I think people are still going to be using their tech fragments on their implants for a while yet. But yeah, do it sooner rather than later.
Right. And this change won't be in until 7.0.2, which is not in the game just yet. So a little bit of margin.
Right. They're also going to raise the rewards that you get for unranked weekly missions PvP and unranked daily missions PvP. So I think that's a welcome change. You still have to win the matches, but you will get higher rewards. So I don't know. I heard, since I don't PvP, I just know what people say is that the rewards were less than, for instance, doing GSF. So I don't know if this brings them in line or not, because the other side of this is they are reducing the rewards from GSF a little bit, not much.
Right.
So I don't know if that's going to bring them into line. So it would make someone who's been doing a lot of GSF, I don't know if it's enough to make them say to themselves, well, maybe I'll do some unranked PvP. I don't know. Maybe it will.
Not yet.
It's not enough of a change. Mind. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's valid, because your mind is a mind.
Well, my mind is definitely valid. The key there that I still enjoy with the way GSF operates is GSF completing the weekly. You only have to play 4 matches or win 2, or any combination of that. Wins count for 2. In doing that, and you can do that weekly up to 3 times on a character. You will only be able to do. Is that updated? Can we only do those 2 times now, or was that only the change?
Weeklies right now, we can only do weeklies 2 times.
Okay.
On a character.
Regardless, you could do it on a bunch of characters. Whereas for the PvP weeklies, you need to win, and you will still need to win. So that's the key difference. So even balancing the rewards is fine, but I don't think that's going to make it more attractive for the people that are used to GSF to go do PvP instead. For the people that are PvPing, which are a lot of people, and there's plenty of good PvP going on, that will be able to continue. And they'll be able to get a little bit better rewards for doing it. The one thing that I noticed in here, especially going back to the RPM and the OEM, that is key is right now you can do Nightmare Operations and you can get OEMs. You can do ranked PvP and you can get RPMs. That's going away in particular.
Yeah. Yes.
So you will not be getting, for the daily and weekly, you won't be getting RPMs for ranked PvP, and for operations, you won't be getting OEMs. Instead,
but that wasn't a huge source of them for me, for sure.
And yeah, certainly not for us. Remember back in the day when we used to do Nightmare Nephra once in a while, so that 1 out of 8 of us could get
yes.
an OEM, and we'd either sell it and divide up the credits or whatever we do with it. So you won't be able to do that anymore. Very few people are at that level of doing ranked PvP. If you look at the broad population, aren't at that level anyway. And because of the operation, the amount of tech frags is going up, and the cost of the OEM and RPM just to be able to buy them outright is going down. They will be much more available, and you don't have to worry about or focus on doing ranked PvP and Nightmare Operations just for these. I still think for a very long time, those augments which require OEMs and RPMs are going to be only for elite players that are doing Nightmare Operations and progression.
And that have multi-millions of credits to spend on them.
Right. Because I think you'll probably still be spending at least $1 billion. $1 billion worth of credits, 1 billion credits worth of value in augmenting all of your gear in those higher end augments.
Yes. Yes. And that's a different game than I play, and more power to them, actually.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
But while you've mentioned operations, they are also upping the amount of tech fragments that we'll get from operations, and especially focusing on story. So like if you do a complete story mode operation, you'll get tech fragments for each boss, and the further in you get, the bosses drop more and more tech fragments. With the complete story mode completed, you will get like 2,000 tech fragments, which is up for 450. That is a big jump.
Yeah.
But I think that's I that's great for me because I tend to do operations, once a week or so. And I don't know if this is a good way of farming it because the time it takes to do an operation, I don't know how it works out, over time. If it's comparable to doing GSF, it probably isn't, but I still like that because, 2000 tag fragments, that's that much closer to finishing up my implants. Well, I finished my implants on my Merc for now, but, I'd like to do it on my Trooper and my Shadow and yeah.
Right.
And then veteran modes and master modes will be even more tech fragments.
Yeah, and that'll be great because we will have a use for the tech fragments for quite a while. I still need tens of thousands of tech fragments to get all of the implants that I want for my tank spec, for my mercenary, my Vanguard.
Oh, that's right.
For
Yeah.
my Sork, it needs to continue to finish upgrading those legendary implants. And then maybe for some of the other classes, maybe I want it I probably want it on all of them. I play my Marauder from time to time. I'd like the appropriate implants on that character too. So
I know you want to do it on your Sork.
Yeah. So it's tons, and that's tons to get it all the way upgraded. I mean, you're talking it's around 20K per implant. So like 40K total of tech frags to get it to 330 for a character. So if you think across characters, that's quite a lot of tech frags.
And then one last thing he touched on is that the currencies that were introduced with 7.0 are getting a revamp on the names. So, and the names are going to be explicitly about where you get those. So for instance, Aquatic Resource Matrix is going to be renamed Daily Resource Matrix because doing dailies is one of the primary sources of dailies and weeklies is one of the primary sources of Aquatic Resource Matrix. And like Medal of Commendation, which you get for Conquest, is now going to be called Conquest Commendation.
Right.
Hazardous Matter Catalyst is now OP-1 Catalyst, Operation 1 Catalyst. So you don't have to remember Thirsian Production Accelerant is PvP because it's going to be called WZ-1 for Warzone.
Right.
I get this. I kind of like it. I mean, I can see where people might look at that and go, "Oh, it's dumbing down something." But I kind of like the sort of symmetry of it. What about you?
I like it. I think it makes sense. I think they probably should have done it from the start.
Well, that would have been nice. Yeah.
I don't know why there was the draw to invent 5 new types of currency and name them weird things.
I've kind of thought about this before. There's always like a pull and a push between how much do you explain and how much is mystery that it's fun for the player to figure out. Like back in the day, you would never even get a map, right? You had to draw your map.
Sure.
And that was fun. But that would not be fun today. So the line is in different places. And so I don't know, maybe they come up with things like Medal of Commendation and Aquatic Resource Matrix because part of the fun might be learning and remembering where all those things slot into your overall plan for playing your character. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's plenty of fun to be had in discovering other things, optimization of your character.
I agree. I'm just saying maybe they would, you can't always know from the inside. It's hard to know things when you already know things.
Right. How about Guild and Community News, Seema? What do we got going on?
Oh, so we have a change coming up, which is Mei Lung is going to restart our Friday night flashpoints, or his Friday night flashpoints, I should say. So that's going to be the first Friday of every month, except in April. It's starting on the 15th. So for 1 month, it's going to be on the 15th. But after that, it'll be the first Friday of every month. And I don't know if he's continuing with this theme, but the idea of this was to do mastermind flashpoints and work towards the vehicle quest that you have to do master mode flashpoints for.
I think that might be one of the things that's what he did some of the last round. Yeah, that'd be great. We've got a lot of people that have wanted to complete that for their first time even, but also that's the kind of thing, there's a few of those mount quests that you can that you need to do on each character that you want to complete that on. So you could, if you got a bunch of characters, like 40 characters, you could do that 40 times, and you would always have something to do with for Flashpoint Friday. So check it out. Malong's going to have that running pretty soon. It's just one off. He couldn't do the first Friday for this first month, so he moved that to the 15th, and then it'll be first Friday for every month after that. Lots of other good things going on in Alea Iacta Est. We got a lot of things going on across our divisions. I know Marcus has been rallying the troops to do some things in Destiny 2. We've got a relatively big group of people that are in Lost Ark. And then all of our existing game divisions, Guild Wars 2 has had a big expansion. Final Fantasy going strong. Definitely check it out. Star Wars The Old Republic is going gangbusters. We're really excited to have all the new people that we have joining us and jumping in on our Tuesday night mandatory fun night. AIE-guild.org is the place to get to our guild Discord and jump in there. We've got guilds on both the Republic and the Imperial side. So check that out. Shout out to the chat room who've been helping us out tonight in ensuring that the new studio is working. It's a little rocky. I'm trying to make it work here. I've got 17 things in front of me, and I'm trying to remember which one I'm supposed to be looking at when.
You're doing great, Max.
It'll smooth out over time, but this is pretty fun. So thank you, chat room. We'll check up with you after, show you a little bit more behind the scenes, answer any questions on equipment and how it works. But this has been exciting. You know, it's also exciting, Seema, making things burn.
Power will be yours if you are willing to burn.
I have a big carafe of water right here, so I'm ready.
All right. That would not be good for making things burn. That would be good for putting out the fire.
Yeah.
We didn't start the fire, Seema.
But I'm going to put it out. That's my plan.
So here we are on the PTS. So let's show this off a little bit and talk about what we've been doing, how to get on the. So we'll talk about how to get on the PTS, how to get to the operation, and we will show you the operation and talk about the first two bosses. So if you don't want to hear anything about the new operation or see it, none of the story is there. But if you really want to make sure you don't get anything spoiled, then you may want to catch up with us on another episode, or wait, put this in your playlist and your backlog and catch up with us later. But there's really nothing getting spoiled. This is just the mechanics of a couple bosses. We don't know what's going on in here. There's not even any trash. There's no quest mobs, so there's nothing like that. So
right, and you're not going to actually see any fighting either. So
why don't we start? And Seema, you reminded me of a better way to do it, but why don't we start with even how do you get the PTS? Remind people of that, because that's the first thing you need to do. Okay,
so that is one of the I think big pluses of Steam, which is that in your library on Steam you have the regular game and the PTS as two separate entries in the menu. So you click on one or you click on the other. Like, so if you're not using Steam, if you've never done the PTS before, you have to run the launcher and then click on a little icon that says switch to the PTS and then log in. And if you forget to do that, you end up logging into the real game and then you have to log out again and start the launcher again. And tell me how I know this. You can do it over and over.
I told you before the show started. I did it 4 times today. I was doing a couple things at once as I'm trying to get all of this stuff set up, but I wanted to get into the PTS, just check it out, see what was going on there. You know, I did record our time in the PTS and I haven't queued it up. So I'm going to have to find that while we're talking here too. But I did that thing. I have Steam installed. I have Star Wars The Old Republic installed in Steam, but I don't run it from there. So I don't have the PTS installed in Steam. So I was doing it the old way, and 4 times in a row, type in the password, type in my key, hit play, or it starts up, I hit play. Close the game. I meant to go to the PTS. Doing something else, come back, start the game, put in my password, put in the key 4 times. So Seema, your hint that this should just be done through Steam for this, because then it'll be a separate link. I think I'm going to go that way. And for the PTS in particular. But you need to have the PTS. That's the first thing. So you need to get that downloaded and installed. Then you need to get a character on the PTS. A couple ways to do that. You could start a brand new character on the PTS. In fact, that works just fine. It'll take an extra few minutes to get it set up, but you could certainly do that. Then, or you can get a PTS character copied over to the PTS. And the way you do that is you go to the Star Wars: The Old Republic website, you log into your account, and on the accounts page, there's a PTS character copy. You can pick any one of your characters then and copy them over to the PTS. That's often very convenient because then you've got all your bars set up, you've got all your abilities set up. And if you're going to do that, only things that like your outfits won't come over. So if there's, see here, I've got my, I've got the outfit I like. I actually put that in my inventory. I pulled it out of collections and put it in my inventory with a die to bring it over here so I could,
I could
look good. Because it's better to look good than to be a good player. That's my view. So if you care about that, you're going to need to do that ahead of time. I put 1 billion credits in my inventory on my character to bring that over. So I got all of that kind of set up before I came and then copied my character. Then I copied my character over.
I'm happy with just the gear that you get over here because I think it looks nice with my hair.
So why don't you talk about that, getting gear over here, because you could come over here naked, and especially if you're going to be doing the new operation, you can get 330 gear. So
yeah, there's like there's a vendor right here that you just buy every gear piece that you need, and it's a 330, and it costs, they're 1 credit a piece.
1 credit.
And then you can conceivably get, you can get augments from this guy, but you have to put the filter on all. Like for me, if I just had it on bodyguard, it only shows the kits.
That's because you're a mercenary. Apparently everyone else, when they click on this guy, sees a whole bunch of augments.
Right.
It's just us because they hate mercenaries right now. You go on here and all I saw was augment kits. And I was telling everybody I told Corley, oh, remember to bring over a bunch of augments because they don't give you augments. And Corley comes over and he says, this vendor's filled with augments. What are you talking about? So if you click here, if you don't see them, click all on the filter on the top and then you'll see them all.
You may want to bring some color crystals though.
Yes. Or pull them out of your collections, but which you can get to some of them here in your collections. I would just bring them in your inventory just to be sure.
Right. Just to be clear, when I say bring them with you, I just mean put them in your inventory because your inventory comes with you.
Yes. Yes.
Your cargo bay may not.
But yeah, so that's what you'll want to do. You'll want to make sure your character is level 80. If it's not, you can go to Onderon, and there's a terminal in the middle of right where you zone in on Onderon that will make your character level 80. Step 1. Step 2, you probably want to go to the fleet, and then on the fleet, you can get unlimited tech frags, and you can get the legendary implants. Step 3, now you've got your character. It's ready to get this new 330 gear. You come to Mekshah. So the new operation is on Mekshah. So Mekshah, you come to Mekshah. It's over by the Slugfall Cantina. The quick travel point to Slugfall Cantina. It's on the rightmost pier down by Slugfall Cantina. You can see it right over there. Come down to the end of this pier. The force field at the end of the pier is actually the entrance to the operation. And then these 2 vendors are right on the dock there. So as Seema said, the one on the right has all of the 330 ricotta pieces. So they're the fully upgraded 330 ricotta pieces. And then the vendor on the left has the augment kits and the 74 level, the rank 74 augments.
I mean, they're more expensive, the augment kits, than the gear. They cost 4 credits.
4
each.
credits? Man, it's a highway robbery. What about the augments? They're all 4 credits.
So one thing too, when you do come to the PTS, your inventory is full of a bunch of stuff that is like overflow. But if you bring enough credits with you, and keep in mind that when we say bring credits, it's just put them on your character. They're still going to be on the live servers when you come back. You're not actually taking anything away from the live servers to have them on. It copies them. But you can use those credits to like buy more inventory space so that because you'll need it if you want to mess around with gear.
If you go to that terminal on Onderon, say you didn't bring credits, the terminal on Onderon, I forgot, also gives you credits. And you can click on it over and over and over until you have 1 billion credits. You'll have to be clicking a long time, but it'll give you a whole bunch of credits that you can use. But the things you would go and maybe buy off the GTN, or the things that, you had maybe an outfit in your collections. Usually collections doesn't show up at all, but I'm seeing my collections here. Let me see if my armor set is in here as well, because that is useful. Yeah. So I've got my Mandalorian Seeker. This is my favorite armor set on this character. And then Infamous Hunter I also use regularly. Cool. I guess this isn't all of my armor sets though. I don't know. This isn't all of them. I don't know which ones it picked. This isn't all of my collections. Anyways.
If you come over here and you don't know where to go to do stuff, check. You said Onderon. Is it Onderon or Odessan?
Odessan.
Okay. So check Odessan,
Oricon.
check the fleet, and then come to
Osis.
Mextra. Yeah.
Some planet that starts with an O.
I don't know why you have to go to multiple different places, but it is what it is.
Also, if you forget something, you can copy over a character multiple times. They'll just show up with their names, randomized, and you could get 10 copies of the same character over on the PTS.
Yes,
So
and it does not take long to copy it over.
Right. Okay. So now you're here. You get now the hard part, get a bunch of friends. I don't have any, so I have to ask Seema to bring hers, and that's what we're going to do maybe this weekend.
Yeah.
Then you get into an operations group because you can't enter the operation unless you're in an ops group, so you need at least one other person. And then down here at the end of the pier, boom, 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 jump in. Now we're in the R-4 Anomaly operation. So R-4 Anomaly is open. It's just there to be able to test the first 3 bosses. So only the first 3 bosses exist. It looks like you need to kill the first boss to be able to even get to the second boss. We can get close, but we couldn't get across the gap. We fell to our death multiple times. But you can definitely walk right in. There's no trash, we noticed. So I don't know if this is, I'm sure this is just probably while it's still being designed or just put up here for testing. You can just walk right in and you don't need to do anything. You can just walk right up to the first boss. So one of the questions in the chat room, is this related to Mexsha? The operation and the story is not related to Mexsha, besides it being an asteroid out in wild space somewhere. So I think Mexsha being a jumping off point to maybe go and get to this asteroid station that's been sort of discovered by a clan of clandestine Sith bad people of some kind. That, we've gotten hints of the story so far. There's a Sith cult that's doing weird bad things at this space station. That was what the cantinas so far have been alluding to as the lead-in story. We don't know anything else besides that, but maybe that's why the Mexsha is where it's staged so far. You may have to come to Mexsha to make this the staging ground to get to the actual operation. So that would be interesting. Inside, so far, it looks pretty much just like a space station. I'm not seeing a lot of asteroidy parts of anything just yet. But we can go right over here and show you the first boss, which has been nicknamed the Disco Ball of Doom. It is called what is the first boss? IP. Oh yeah, I forgot what it was called. It's the IPCPT droid.
And the first thing Max said was, are there going to be
dailies? Will there be IP dailies?
That's my favorite joke today.
IP daily. Hey everybody, IP daily. Let's do it. So this is it. It's also nicknamed the Disco Ball of Doom. It is a pretty fun looking boss. It doesn't look too difficult, but there is a lot of dancing around. And if you are melee, that might be something interesting that you are going to get to experience to some degree.
Part of getting proficient at playing a melee class is
dancing.
Doing fights that are canted against you.
Because as we start the fight here, you will see very quickly each of these big square tiles on the ground lights up with fire in different patterns. And big and small, there's different red circles that go out on each player. There's like a 10-meter radius circle that goes on half of the players, and a couple 30-meter radius circle that goes on a couple other players, and you can't get those circles overlapping or be blowing up your friends. So that's another thing that you're going to be dancing around. And then there's these big giant lasers that shoot across the room in different patterns. You're going to be dancing around those. So dance, dance, dance. So that is one of the key mechanics that you're going to need to dance around throughout the bulk of the fight. So you're shooting the IP boss, shoot IP freely in the beginning of the fight. Then there are also these 4 terminals around the outside of the room in each of the corners. As you get to the second phase, what's going to happen is there will be some shield droids that pop up that are shielding the main boss. Each of those shield droids has a symbol over them, and that symbol matches with some of these terminals. It's not exactly clear to us just yet because I looked at what was going on in some of the videos, and it seems that it's changed since then. But it was clicking the terminal that matched the droid to drop its shield and then blowing up the droid. That doesn't seem to be the way it works anymore. You click a terminal, it does something to the droid, it's not clear, and then you need to, the symbol changes over that droid, and you need to go click another terminal. We clicked enough terminals to blow up the droid, so I don't know exactly what we did, but there's something going on there with the terminals and the droids. There are also small turrets that are called small turret that pop up. Those mostly can be ignored or you get a little splash damage to blow those up. And then there's 2 big droids that come up that need to be tanked. I've heard of people doing this fight with only 1 tank, 5 DPS, and 2 healers, because most of what happens is a single tank can mostly manage those 2 big droids and keep the attention of the main boss, drag those big droids around to do a little splash damage. So that's going to be, I think, the key way this can be done on story mode. On the harder modes, you might need 2 tanks, 1 for the ads and 1 for the main boss. We'll see how that goes. So
it would make sense if this was a 1 tank boss though, because it's right away we can benefit from loadouts.
This is true.
Or even combat styles.
You will need to step out if you're going to change your combat style, but it's right outside the front door of the operation. So that might be an opportunity. All right, let's pull this and see if we can at least see some of the fire. I'll go ahead and pull Seema. You heal me like the wind. Here we go. And
it's a lot of fire, and the fire is really bad.
There's the small circle and the big circle. I don't know if it's timed or if I have to actually be doing damage here to this guy. I guess here I'll shoot him, do some damage. And here's the fire starting up. Now look at the animation on this fire. That looks good, doesn't it? Oh,
yeah, it does.
About to burn.
Oh,
I'm willing to burn. Oh, I'm about to burn again. I can't talk and I can't do a podcast. Oh, and here's the big lasers. Check out those big lasers going on. There's another big laser coming.
Oh, I got the big laser.
Another big laser, and there'll be more fire. Now we're probably not even going to get to phase 2. Oh, here comes more fire, and I'm dead. But that's it. It's kind of cool. And now you can sort of maybe see why it's called the Disco Ball of Doom. I think I have a couple other links here that I could show of Peter the Selkath, who was...
People who were actually fighting it, you mean, instead of just...
Yeah, who actually killed it. So people have killed it. People have killed all 3 of the bosses. I have not seen any video of the 3rd boss, Kanoth, just yet. But let us go to that one of those videos. Where did I put those videos? I thought I put the links in here for us to just be able to grab. But
maybe you left them upstairs.
Did you say I left them upstairs?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me run upstairs. I left all my bits upstairs. I can grab them real quick.
I left my binder upstairs.
Here we go.
Welcome to a very first...
Let us mute that, but you can find this look up SWTOR Central on YouTube and search for SWTOR R4, and you will see it pretty quick. It's a good version of the video, and they fought it. You can sort of see it. We'll skip ahead here. They fought it. I think they had run it a couple times, and they did get a good kill on it. And then there's either this group, or I think there was another group that had a pretty good fight and kill of the second boss, which is the watchdog. So after you kill the boss, so here you can see here's the big droids that they're fighting, and there's the terminals with the symbols over the top. So all of this is pretty I mean, it's pretty frenetic, and you're going to need to dance around, but it didn't seem too tough. And it seems like, and especially for story mode, that we're going to be able to do a pretty quick kill of this first boss to have a nice start to the operation. Now, also keep in mind though, this is tuned for 330 gear, or at least 326 gear, because we were wearing full 330 gear to come in here, and that's what they give you to do the testing. Maybe that's so you can test vet mode as well. We certainly weren't testing it in vet mode, but
we weren't really testing it.
This is going to be harder than a regular operation, so that's something key to keep in mind. This is going to be harder than anything that's currently in the game.
Yeah, like a legacy operation.
So even story mode is going to be harder. So that's what you're going to want to keep in mind. So right now you should be getting all of your gear all tuned up, and then be ready to go with the slightly more difficult versions. Let's look if we can find a fight of the dog, the watchdog, because that is a pretty cool looking boss, at least. Yeah. So here, this is again is in Peter's screen, but they did not kill it in this fight. There's another fight where another group gets a little bit further along, but here you get a view of what this dog looks like, and it is a pretty cool looking boss. So here, let's just hit play. So it's a big robo dog. There are quite a few more complicated mechanics, I'll say, from what we're sort of seeing so far in this fight and what people have described. So you start by fighting the boss. The tank is going to take the boss over in this corner, sort of keep it there. And then you're getting a bunch of circles that are dropping on the players. You don't want to be standing in those when those go off, just regular sort of missiles that go out. Then this mechanic starts. So what you're seeing now is there are orange circles and there are blue circles. Blue circle people cannot touch orange circle people's circles. If they do, then people start blowing up and dying if you get the player stepping in the wrong color circle and overlapping. So as you see, two people just died there because they overlapped their circles. So what needs to happen here is the blue circle people need to go to one side of the room and the orange circle people need to go to the other side of the room. You're carrying those circles around with you for quite a while in sort of the first, maybe this is the second phase of the fight. Then, at some point, those circles will drop off of you onto the ground. There will be orange circles and blue circles on the ground, and then the boss gets a mechanic that it rotates through those two different colors, the orange and the blue, and the tanks will need to be moving the boss through those circles in a pattern and making sure that you're getting the right circle at the right time, and people don't get more new circles on them. And all of this time, there's still missiles going on, AoE damage, and a bunch of damage going on the tanks. That's all I've seen of this fight so far. But again, looks pretty cool. Pretty cool looking big boss. Go to SWTOR Central's channel to see a little bit of the fights. And then there's a couple other videos out there. Yeah. Oh, do you think we'll get it as a mount? You can just ride up on top of Robo Dog?
I don't think so.
These people are going to blow up. Boom. They blew up those circles. You are not supposed to blow up the circles because you do need those circles in the next phase. I don't think we're going to get this boss as a mount, but that would be cool.
Oh, because I mean, that ridge, there's... That would be hard.
But even if you don't kill or don't even fight any of these bosses, if you just get another person, you can form an ops group. You can wander around here and check out the graphics.
Which is what we did, yeah.
You can walk right up to the first boss, and you can walk almost to where the second boss zone in is. So where that is instead of going in that red force field where the first boss is, you can see him down there. Where you're going to do the IP daily. Instead, go up this little ramp, and there's this long, long hallway. So go down and run down this hallway. There's some cool areas in here. Again, there's no mobs in this whole operation. There's a little bit of these molten, destroyed areas of the station that will set you on fire, but no mobs. We expect that this may end up getting filled with ads or some little fights that you're going to be having along the way here. I'm sure that there will be. But then down here is a big chasm. And I believe you need to kill the first boss to open up the ability to get through this chasm and get yourself to the second boss. We couldn't find a way. I think when I saw groups do it, there's like something you jump on right here. And there's things you jump on and jump across to get down over to there. But obviously you cannot do that right now. So I don't think there's a way to get to the second boss unless there's some parkour thing you can do up there, which I don't see. So maybe a door opens here somewhere and you walk around or something like that. But check it out. Kill the first boss, then you can go to it. And then what I would really like to see that we haven't seen yet is to get somebody to show us a video of them. And people have done it. They've talked about it on the PTS. But what does the third boss, Lord Canoth, look like? And what is that fight going to look like? So hopefully we'll see that pretty soon. We'll get some videos of somebody killing that and some description of some of the mechanics and the rest of the bosses in the operation. So Matt has not finished putting the rest of those bosses in the operation out there for us. I would expect he's going to be doing that pretty soon. So that's something we're all looking forward to as well. Other than that, anything else you want to mention or talk about for the R-4 Anomaly, Seema?
Nope, just that I'm waiting for it to, I'm waiting with bated breath.
So get the PTS installed, get character copied over, get your 330 gear and the augments. It only take a couple minutes to do that. And then let Seema and I know in Discord that you're ready to go. And maybe this weekend we will get great. 8 people in there and we will kill the first boss. But other than that, I think, I'm just waiting for, hey, Matt. Matt needs to get the rest of the bosses up there and open up the rest of this operation so we can get in there.
Now I'm amused by the idea of you yelling into your basement for Matt.
Off at Matt. Maybe can you hear me through the basement?
He's in the kitchen right now putting away an empty milk carton in the fridge. Matt
Pusevich is not my roommate. That he is not up in the kitchen. You know who is up in the kitchen? EPC 420. 420, dude.
Oh, that was smooth.
EPC 420 is still in the kitchen, but we're going to kick it out an airlock now to broadcast this episode of this podcast to all of you. New fun podcast broadcast from the new studio. So check it out on the YouTube if you're listening to this in audio, but you'll get the regular audio version of the podcast out there for everyone as well. To keep from missing out, subscribe to New Overlords on YouTube and iTunes. You can find all the links and more of what's next on newoverlords.com. Follow me on Twitter at MaxTheGray, and I will keep you up to date. For the AIE Guild, Alea Iacta S on Starforge, and in all of the games that we play, check out aie-guild.org, and the Discord link is in the upper right. Jump in there, and we would be happy to get you an invite. And we will talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.
There we go. I pressed the wrong button. And we will talk to you soon.
Yeah, we will.